Hello, beautiful souls. I hope that you're having an amazing day today. It is Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, just past the 12 noon hour when I'm recording this in Sedona, Arizona, where the heat is turned on high today. Over the past week, we've seen more major shifts and changes in power structures for several countries, including the United Kingdom, France. But is this going to be for the better or is it going to be for the worst? Both for these countries and for the rest of the world. Spirit shows me that there's going to be a double shift in power in the United States. Perhaps they're about to push out JB, perhaps, as the globalist elite work very hard on their sinister agenda. But will they fulfill that sinister agenda? We all hold in the light that that's not going to happen. But we're going to discuss these changes in power today. Also, we're going to discuss some of the prophecies like that of Edgar Cayce and Nostradamus when it comes to talking about the poles of the earth shifting. Some saying flipping. And of course, there's those that scream conspiracy. And then there's those who say or try to debunk this in any fashion whatsoever. But when you really do look at it closely, the poles have actually been shifting for decades. Small bits, but more concerning is that this shifting of the poles has been increasing, especially over the past few years. And it's moving even faster since 2011, actually. But over the past few years, it's really moving fast. So now evidence claims that the core center of our Earth, which spins, as you know, they say it spins. I don't know how they know, but they say it spins. Now, all of a sudden, remember last year they were telling us it was slowing down and then they tried to debunk that? Well, now they say the core center of the Earth came to a complete stop. Could this be on the edge of something much larger that's about to happening? Like the shifting of the poles? But if the poles are already shifting, it can't be all gloom and doom, right? It definitely isn't, and I'm going to explain why today. Speaking of the Earth's core, over the past week, Yellowstone National Park had a significant 3.9 earthquake, while Hawaii experienced a swarm of smaller quakes, but still a swarm of quakes is a swarm of quakes, no matter what their size is. Not only that, they were also accompanied by a 4.1 quake in Hawaii. Another swarm of quakes, including a 5.0, hit the Vancouver Islands off the coast of Canada in Washington, state of Washington. And recently I warned Costa Rica, if you remember. And they too were also hit with a 5.5 quake along the border of Panama, an area that you may recall Spirit pulled me to several times. I can't remember what. I was trying to find the video, or remember what video it was, but it was recent. It wasn't that long ago. So if anybody knows, please let us know in the comments down below. So that energy that's coming in, we have a major energy that's about to come rolling in, friends. So is this activity beginning to flare up? Actually, if you look at the earthquake map, it's not beyond normal. I think when I looked yesterday, 75 quakes over 4.5 or higher. When it ignites activity, we're in the 100, over 100. We haven't hit that yet. But are we going to hit that in the near future? And is Yellowstone National Park and others in danger? Is this little activity that's happening a sign of something much larger that's going to come, especially now that they're telling us that the Earth's core has stopped? Quite concerning, to say the least. We also see in Sicily 2 major volcanic eruptions, quite beautiful spectacle, light show for sure, that caused flight delays. And if you remember, and other issues too, of course, I saw one picture of a guy sweeping the dust off the street. The ash, there was so much of it. Wild, right? So is this, again, it caused flight issues. Spirit told us that we're going to see volcanic eruptions that would cancel flights and such. This is happening over there in Italy. But Spirit also warned of multiple eruptions coming that would bring about major world events. Could these be the dual eruptions, Mount Stromboli and Mount Etna, that Spirit warned us about that we would witness, unleashing these series of events? Could be. I'll explain why today and how this leads us into the near future. Because things are about to erupt. Not just volcanoes either, friends. And you know it, you feel it. We all have been feeling it for a while, and we're stepping into some intense energy in less than a week. It's going to be wild. It's going to be fun, too. Always look at the bright side, friends. Always look at the bright side. So is there a very large quake coming to those areas, like Italy, in the near future? I'm sure they want to know, and we're going to talk about that, along with Hurricane Beryl that slammed into Texas, just as Spirit told us it would. Hurricane season only just begun, friends. It only just began. And not only that, September and October is when we're in the height of hurricane season. We had the earliest hurricane on record ever, just as Spirit said back in January or March or earlier this year, some point earlier this year. And that's exactly what we're witnessing. So what's going to happen at the height of hurricane season come September and October? We don't even have to wait that long, the Spirits just said. You won't even have to wait that long. There's more coming in the near future. Speaking of future, did you hear that recently the Pope, not his future, but he just came out, the Pope of the Catholic Church, of course, telling us this wild claim that he has. He's now telling us that the church doesn't believe hell exists, or at least he says hell does not exist. What? What the hell? Like, really? Really, Pope? So is that not what the church used to scare folks into obedience over a thousand years? They put fear into people, scaring you that you would, if you broke the laws and the 10 Commandments, you would burn in the fiery depths of hell. Does hell exist? Yes and no. It's a loaded question. But why would the Pope suddenly say this? Because denying the existence of hell when it comes to the church in general, just the church, denying the existence of hell all of a sudden is also denying the existence of dark entities and demons, which we all know very truly exist. So what's going on with the church, friends? Kind of crazy, right? They just released that, month or two ago? The list of apparitions and how to tell the difference between apparitions of spirits versus dark entities. Something crazy happening there. Are they trying to prepare us for something, friends? Perhaps their great world religion that the elite want? They do want that. They say, according to them, that there would be no more conflicts if there were no borders. There'd be no conflicts if there were no religions. There'd be no conflicts if there were no division. All these things that they say. Saying that it's going to be a world of peace. A world that they control and make us their little slaves. Not happening, friends. Not happening. Over the past week, right here in Arizona, well, not here in Arizona, this is Sedona, but down there in Phoenix, Arizona, police officer pulled over a vehicle and was only shocked to find out that there was nobody in the vehicle driving the vehicle. Not only that, what's really concerning about this is that this vehicle, this driverless vehicle, which we're seeing more and more of, especially in cities like Phoenix, was driving down the wrong direction down a highway, almost ending up on a head-on collision. So remember what Spirit told us not that long ago, that driverless vehicles. Remember what Spirit said? Well, if you don't, I'm going to tell you about it and key you in on it today. Because if you don't recall, Spirit showed us predictions revolved around these vehicles being very dangerous on our roads without drivers in the future. And now this just proves it. Luckily, nothing horrific happened other than a cop pulling over a vehicle driving down the wrong road, almost causing head-on collisions. But very concerning. So today I'm going to reveal lots of truth, of course, as we love to do. Even though it often tosses me into the darkness, shadows, whatever you want to call it, where sometimes people don't find this. So it's important that you share this with other people, friends. Another thing I want to share with you today around truth is the truth revolved around the peace sign, because I found this little clip I got to show you, because I told you someone even sent me the peace sign, sent the right way, because it's supposed to be upwards for peace, downwards is the opposite. And I'm going to show you a little clip that's going to blow your mind on the creation of the peace sign. Wild stuff, friends. Wild stuff. And they did that on purpose in the 1960s to promote, again, an agenda, a very dark one at that. So this, along with revealing some very strange alignments. And you might have seen this, but just if not, it's really puzzling and really wild information with the connection between Abraham Lincoln and JFK And what happened to both of them? Well, we know what happened to both of them, but the wild stuff that aligns with the two of them is pretty creepy. It's something mind-blowing that there's certainly no coincidence, and I just got to share it with you today. So much happening around the globe, friends, but so much more heading our way. Just over the next week, a week from now, the 14th is when Spirit said the energies are going to start to shift drastically. So that's less than a week away. So we're going to talk about that energy and so much more. So friends, hop aboard this crazy train of events and vibe with your tribe. And feed your prediction addiction as we talk about new predictions as we do each and every week. Some of the new predictions today are revolved around the topics, of course, that we mentioned, along with my recent vision of an attack on a building. I'm going to key you in on that. I'll let you know where I believe it's going to occur. A warehouse of secret technology? Sounds a little interesting, right? A massive UFO spacecraft that I had a vision of that you're going to want to hear about because that's pretty wild too. Along with the secret army that Spirit shows me that's forming right here in the United States. This and, of course, a whole lot more on this episode number 125 of Tuesday's Prediction Update. And y'all know what time it is.
It's tea time, baby.
Beautiful friends, beautiful souls, once again, I hope that you're having an amazing day today. I welcome you back to the channel. If you're new here, we welcome you to the channel. If you want to vibe with the tribe, you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, you got to smash the subscribe button, the bell, followed by all, so that you don't miss content. Down below, you'll find the link to my newsletter to ensure that you never miss any content, because we put it out every month, the previous month's content, and the new newsletter that goes out the first of every month with the astrology, numerology. Sometimes other events happen during the month. We'll put out another newsletter, but relatively it's just once a month. So we're not going to spam your email to death with all these emails. It's just going to be 1 to 3 tops per month. That's it. And it's free. And then you'll know what's going on. You can also find out about my upcoming classes, including the master class, where my students learn ceremony and learn how to get into deep states of trance meditation through shamanic journey to meet their spirit guides, allies, angels, and a whole lot more. Check it out. You can go directly to my website, spiritmanjt.com or josephtittel.com, and that's where you would schedule directly. I still have people sending me emails about readings and dates and asking for dates that are already booked. Just go right to the website, friends. That's why it's all right there. If the date's not on the website, then it's not available. Pretty simple. Also, beware of fake profiles. People posing as other people. Whether they're copying my profiles or other social media content providers, they do it all the time. If you receive a message on any social media platform that appears to be me, I assure you it is not me. Block them, but report them first, of course, always. I'll never send you a message other than from my email. So just be alert. And let us move on with episode number 125 of
Tea time, baby.
The past week has truly, really not been all that bad at all, to tell you the truth, in the world and our lives. Hopefully your life's been pretty darn good over the past week. More like the quiet before the storm, friends. That's what it is. It's the quiet before the storm. Multiple storms, actually. Multiple storms are going to come rolling in. One of them with a huge tsunami wave of energy that's meant to really awaken humanity on a whole nother level. It's going to be amazing, friends. Spirit shows me 3 big waves of energy coming in. Starting with the first wave of energy coming in around between the 14th and the 17th of July this month. The second wave of energy is going to come in around early August, around the 7th. And then a third huge wave of energy is going to hit between August 19th and 20th. So interesting time periods to look forward to. We got to get through July first. August is going to be a doozy, friends. I'm looking forward to the August predictions and forecasts because it's going to be a doozy. But we still got a lot coming up in this month for sure as well. This is setting us off for a 4th wave of energy Spirit shows that's going to come hitting us between sometime in October. probably within weeks of that next big eclipse, which I think, if I remember correctly, is October 2nd. I think it's October 2nd. I'm pretty sure it's October 2nd, the next big eclipse. So during these waves of energy and ascension on our planet, it is of the utmost importance to make sure that you stay very, very hydrated, and to do so with really good water, friends. Water is important. Remember, water holds consciousness. Water is life. Water is amazing. So stay hydrated, extremely hydrated, and drink good quality water during these cycles over the next 8 weeks. I'd say start now. Get yourself used to it. Also, do your best, Spirit says, to eat healthy, grounding foods. Foods that keep you grounded, and also meditate to ground as well. And most importantly, build a routine of daily meditation and prayer. We're certainly going to need it. That's what spirits say. So on July 5th, Friday, we had the new moon ringing in the sign of Cancer, heightening our intuition on a whole nother level. Did you notice, perhaps I did, myself, had a very hard time sleeping Friday night. Friday night, that was the new moon. I was good Saturday and Sunday. But I was also painting all day Saturday and Sunday, so I was exhausted and there wasn't much keeping me awake. But Friday, I could not sleep, and I don't usually have problems with that. Insomnia, thankfully, has not been a problem. But it was Friday night, for whatever reason, and I again say that's got to be the new moon. Let us know in the comments if you had problems sleeping on Friday night. If you can remember that far back. It was only a few days ago. So mostly Friday night, though. I certainly did have problems. So remember, the past new moon is all about setting your intentions. All new moons are about setting our intentions. New moon in Cancer that we just had, and it's not too late. You can still set your intentions, but you're also going to want to set your intentions around family, home, and self-care. Remember, Spirit in the forecast for July was all about self-care and self-nurturing. That's what that 6 vibration that we're in this month is all about as well. And overanalyzing everything and picking everything apart. It's a good thing, because then we realize what we're not going to do or put up with anymore. It's going to be interesting how this plays out on the world stage, actually. So self-care, set your intentions on self-care when it comes to your home, family. That's why I painted the final room in the house that needed to be painted, the guest room. I finally got that done. I started painting last year and got the whole house done. And it's a project. Painting is just not as fun as I intended it to be. After you get through 5 cans of paint, you're like over it by that point. And I probably went through double that, not to mention 5 gallons of ceiling paint. So it's a lot. But this is the perfect time, friends. This new moon's telling you, get your home set in order. Get it all ready to go. You might be spending more time there anyway, especially if the global elite get their way and pushing out another, bug. I don't believe that they're going to be successful, but they're certainly going to try. So moving right along, on July 11th, the energy of love and relationships, of course, came ringing in when Venus entered the sign of Leo. So this is a time coming up on the 11th. The whole Venus puts love in the air, of course, Venus in Leo. So this is a time when the 11th kicks in to express your affection while enjoying the pleasures of life. Get out, enjoy life, celebrate you. I tell you the end of every show. It's really important, but it's going to be really important when that Venus kicks in on July 11th. So remember that. Very, very important. Now, also on the 14th, we have Scorpio, the moon in Scorpio. And it's going to be guaranteed to ignite your emotions. So hold on tight. It's going to ignite them in some way, hopefully in a positive way. It always will be positive in the long run, of course, but hopefully all positive. But people don't like to deal with their emotions. And when that rings in on the 14th, it's going to bring up a lot of emotions for people. And that's going to intensify in August when we step into that really intense energy shift energy. That's all about emotions. People would lose their minds when we go through those energy shifts. They're starting to already, and we haven't even stepped into it yet. We step into it on the 17th is when we actually step into that 8-week cycle that includes the pre-shadow of the Mercury retrograde. It's going to be interesting. So you're also going to notice a lot of your hidden feelings coming up. A lot of hidden feelings that you've been suppressing for a long time. Pay very close attention to them, and most importantly, face them. Conquer these emotions, friends. That's why they come up. And pay attention as to your intuition. Your intuition skyrocketed when the new moon came in. So pay attention to your intuition because you're going to receive a boost of that on the 14th as well. So we just got a boost on the new moon Friday, but another boost is coming on the 14th. And then July 15th, which is less than a week away, the poo-poo hits the fan, friends. The poo-poo hits the fan. Really. Because that's when Mars and Taurus conjunct Uranus and Taurus. And that's going to ring in strongly and very, very, very loudly, friends. So not all happening just on that day, but that's when it all begins. You know, that's a time that Spirit warned us that this tsunami waves of energy are going to come in that are going to bring transformation and change on amazing levels. So I would not be at all surprised to see something like JB Biden stepping down or even something worse happening on that day or a few days after the 15th. Because his wife not letting him step down, friends. Not happening. She's pushing because she thinks she's the president. And, you know, for a first lady, I haven't seen her do anything. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't pay attention. But, you know, like, look at Michelle Obama. She was doing everything. Even Melania Trump was doing everything, all this amazing stuff. You know, Jill's too busy taking care of JB. So I would say, again, don't be surprised to see something happen. And remember, Spirit said a long time ago, 6 months or longer ago, that a great shaking was coming to the White House. That could be happening this month. August at the latest, but keep an eye out on the 15th. Because this alignment on July 15th is bound to bring sudden, shocking changes that are very unpredictable. Unpredictable events. Energy waves that are going to wash upon our shores. Maybe even literally, really big waves hitting the shores. So this energy is going to be very, very potent, friends. So again, be sure to stay grounded. If you missed last week's guided meditation that I did a guided meditation to assist you on shielding yourself from other people's energy and emotions. So be sure, I'll try to remember to put a link up above at some point in time. Go back or go directly to my channel and check out last week's meditation. You'll learn how to shield yourself every day. And you can't just do it once and expect it to work forevermore. It's something you got to do every day. You got to focus on your energy. You got to create that ball of light around you. And I show you how to do it. In the same meditation, we also do it for the earth too. So that's awesome. Let's move on. Let's move on to big power grabs. Because earlier this year, we discussed the importance of 2024 being a year where more countries were going to be voting and experiencing changes of power unlike any other year we've seen before. So get ready for dozens of countries changing and shifting power. We're already seeing that in new hands. We see it again in the UK. We see it in France and so many other countries, Mexico. But is it all for the better or is it for the worse, friends? Like, for example, in the UK, I don't got their names. I don't remember their names, so excuse me on that. But the one new leader in the UK is a big WEF friend. He's friends with the, WEF. WEF. Big friends with him. And we know what they want. They want you to eat the bugs. And a whole bunch of other crazy agendas that they have. Now, and then they all thought that change in France was going to happen, and it did, but it didn't, but it did. Craziness. And it really just, to me, it doesn't feel at all for the better. I got to be honest. Honesty is important. So in France, it appeared, again, hopeful, but it became a total sudden shock from what they tell us in the media, showing French citizens that change is certainly not for the better. It doesn't seem that way. Well, some of them think it is. But again, people are too divided. They're too split apart. We're not looking at everything as a whole. We're looking at things from one side or the other side. That's why everything's so screwed up. We have to look at everything as a whole together. Togetherness. It's the only thing that's going to change the world. And again, I told you, Spirit told us, the best way for us to help change the world is to focus on our own light and let that light shine on the planet. Because trying to convince others or trying to awaken other people is just hopeless, friends. You're just wasting and depleting your own energy. Energy that you could be using in a positive fashion by just shining that light on the planet, doing so in meditation and other ways too. So just a whole lot more of the WEF and the UN pushing their candidates that support their agendas. That's what you got. And they blame, Russian collusion and this collusion and that collusion. Usually from what I have experienced in life, those that accuse others of something are usually the ones that are guilty of doing it. That's kind of how I got it out of life. I mean, like 95% of the time when people were accusing someone of something else, it's because they're doing it. Like cheaters, for example. When somebody accuses their partner of cheating, it's because they usually are, or they did, or they're going to. One of the three. So they're pushing this reset, friends. They're pushing it, these changes of power. So we have to hold in the light. Because these awakenings are coming, friends, no matter what. And it's not limited to one. It's not limited to the left, the right, or to the white, or to the Latino, or it's not limited to a race or a side. It's all of humans. We are one. There is no race. Race is created. The race is humanity. Humans are the race. And that's what needs to happen. When the awakening happens, we can hold in the light that it awakens these leaders to the agendas of the dark evildoers like UN and WEF and many others. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. But we can change it. We have the power, and we're going to do it. We're going to successfully change it. It's just as Spirit told us. The road's going to get very bumpy with lots of big holes along the way before we come out to a nice paved new golden earth. So here in the United States, it has become quite obvious that the so-called fearless leader never actually was the true leader of our country. Some underground government, or some people believe it's Obama. Some people think it's Jill. Maybe it's Jill and Obama. But even if they had a hand in this, it's still not them. It's way above them, friends. This goes way above everybody. It goes up to those. Look at the United Nations, the 300 families. 300 families are connected to that are that consist of the UN. The families, the rich ones, the elite, the globalists who stick together. And they stick together in the family, if you know what I mean. Creepy. Creepy, creepy, creepy. So now we see the puppeteers and the mass media going against JB. Like big time, they're going against him. And I saw a video this morning. Jill's a little angry. She got a little angry, got mad at the reporters because she's pushing for him to stay. And if he doesn't step away, voluntarily, what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen. Oh, sorry, JB was found this morning in his bed. Kamala takes over. And that was my vision years ago. I saw her taking over for a very short period of time. And the way things are looking now, that looks very, very plausible. Now, who's she going to pick for her little VP? Newsom? Regardless, we already know. I told you, Spirit already determined years ago who's going to win. It's going to happen. It's just the show. It's quite a show, friends. Quite a show. And I actually feel really sorry for JB. I just feel sorry for him. Like, his legacy is going to be not good that he leaves behind if he don't step away. It's sad for him. Sad for him. And here we think they're all friends. They're not friends. They all use each other. No one is their friend. Especially anyone that slightly interferes with any of their global agenda plans. So here's an interesting question that came out of the comments. I have a real question, says the comments. I have listened to so many people who get messages from Spirit and they all seem to say the same about weather, etc. But no one seems to agree on the USA election. So why is this? Thank you ahead of time. I am curious. Well, I don't listen to all the others at all because I have a rule. If you post predictions and you do predictions, you should not be on other people's channels listening to their predictions, as we've seen somebody do on my channel before showing up in the chat room. You don't. That's a no-no because it's going to interfere with your own process. Regardless of how good you are, it's still going to interfere. Don't listen to what others are saying if that's what you're doing. It's just like, eating in the place that you work. People who work at McDonald's don't want to eat at McDonald's. I mean, maybe some of them do, but I wouldn't even want to work there or eat there. So what I believe is there's a lot of bias, people picking sides, the division. And even from what I hear from you guys, even ones in other countries seem to be very picking sides. They're picking a side or picking who they want or what they want instead of keying in on the vibration. Because that's what we tune into. We tune into the frequency, the vibrations that are happening. And those vibrations and frequencies can shift and change. So yeah, as of now, Spirit says definitely it's going to be DT. He's going to win. Unless something crazy happens that interferes with that frequency or energy, which I don't, well, with what's coming over the next 8 weeks, next couple months, nothing would surprise me. But I still have no doubt that's what's going to happen. And that's not because that's what I want. Believe me, I want none of them, actually. I want a miracle to go into the office. That's what I want. A big miracle. And miracles do happen each and every day. If you believe in miracles, you will see miracles. Moving on to the pole shift, friends, because many people do not realize that the Earth's poles have actually gradually have been shifting little by little for decades now. According to the National Geographic, they say this has absolutely nothing to do with our changing climate. The Earth is literally shifting. The poles are moving for decades. It's speeding up now faster than ever. But National Geographic says it's no connection to the weather. That doesn't sound right to me, huh? National Geographic, of course, is just a funded media outlet like many other media outlets, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make any sense at all. How does that even make slight sense? If the Earth's moving and tilting, yeah, of course it's going to affect everything. Hello? National Geographic, get your facts together because it just doesn't make sense. It's not related. I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist. But it just sounds like common sense to me. It's just my opinion. We're all entitled to our opinion, right, friends? Right, friends? So to make matters even more concerning, about a year or so ago, there were claims that the Earth's core was slowing down. Remember that about a year or so ago? And then they said, oh, it was fake and fake news and that's not happening and it's not slowing down. And they tried to debunk it. Well, now, all of a sudden, they're telling us that the Earth's core center has come to a stop. Not only slowed down, but it stopped. So what does this mean? Is it going to turn around and go the opposite direction now? So until the 1990s, the North Pole moved about 15 kilometers per year. However, this rate has accelerated to 55 kilometers per year towards Siberia in subsequent years. That's crazy, friends. That's a lot. 55 miles a year. Or kilometers. Miles, kilometers. So the Earth's inner core. Earth's core has slowed down so much that it's moving backwards. Scientists now confirm. This comes from the controlling news network, of course. Of course it does. And now how do they even know that? That's what I want to know. Is there somebody living down there that's sending messages up to the surface? Some people think there are someone down there living down there. Or living somewhere in the earth. The hollow earth. So the inner core, that's what they say on CNN. Deep inside the earth, the solid metal ball that rotates independently. How do they know it's solid metal? Independently of our spinning planet. Like a top twirling around inside a bigger top, shrouded in mystery. The inner core has intrigued researchers since the discovery by Danish seismologist, whatever his name is, I can't even pronounce it. And I'm not going to read the whole article to you. The point of the matter is that they're telling us it's slowed down and now it's moving backwards, which is interesting because many folks believe, or at least they think, that the poles are going to flip overnight. It's just all going to happen, and this is in accordance to prophecies like Edgar Cayce, especially Edgar Cayce or Nostradamus. But Edgar Cayce said it's shifting the poles. He didn't say it was all going to happen in one time. I don't believe he said it was all going to happen in one time because it's not going to all happen in one time. It's obvious now. It's moving 55 kilometers a year towards Siberia. So it's already flipping. It's a slow progress, slow process. And yes, it's going to bring about devastation on the planet, but not all in one day. It's not just going to work out that way. I mean, there's going to be some days that are going to be rough. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong at all. But it's not going to be total gloom and doom all happening, all at once, destroying the entire Earth. Because think about it. This is allegedly what happened to the Atlanteans and Lemuria and Mu, those continents that were here 15,000 years ago, was said to be destroyed. Now some say they destroyed themselves with nuclear war. And then there's others that say, no, it's the 15,000 year rotation of the Earth and the shifting of the poles. So we're going to find out soon enough what really is happening, because all this truth and knowledge is going to come to the surface. I've been telling you that. It's exciting. They can't suppress this anymore, especially the inventions and the creations, which I'll get into that in a little bit, because I had a vision that I got to share with you in my predictions later. It's going back. It's simply not going to happen the way people think it's going to happen. Yes, there are going to be massive, massive earthquakes. I mean, like 8.0, 9.0 earthquakes. Like off the chart earthquakes. Tsunamis off the chart. And even meteors striking parts of the planet at some point, too. That's all going to happen. Likely just within the next decade or between now and 2036. Especially between 2029 and 2036. That period of time, that 7 years, that we can call the tribulation of the Earth, when the blue star Kachina appears in our skies on Friday, April 13th, 2029. Just as the Hopi natives and the Lakota natives all told us was going to happen. So it's not far away, but it's exciting. Of course, many will perish, many things will change, but we need this change. Not only that, they're going to have to change the whole geography of our planet is going to change. Islands are going to appear out of the oceans. I said that years ago, a long time ago. I think it was 2010, 2011, maybe 2012 at the latest. And then it happened right off the coast of Pakistan. And then I said was it this year's predictions or last year's? And then it happened off the coast of Japan from a volcano. So we're going to see a lot of that. And we're going to see other islands and other parts, coastlines, be submerged. It's just part of the process. The Earth does it all the time, and that's all connected. Spirit says it's all connected. The Earth's core, everything that's it's all connected. As we know it is. They just don't want you to know it is. So I had this interesting thought, this interesting feeling, actually, that we end up swapping with the southern hemisphere. So in the southern hemisphere, when you flush the toilet, and when someone told me this, I didn't believe them until I went and tried in Peru. They're like, did you notice when you flush the toilet or the sink fills up with water, it swirls the opposite direction, counterclockwise? I'm like, no, it does not. I went and tried. I sat there for 20 minutes playing with the toilet and the sink in the bathroom. I was so fascinated by that. They say their storms do the same thing. They go the opposite direction, counterclockwise. Where here in the northern hemisphere, everything spins clockwise. I had this weird, strong feeling that that's going to shift in different parts. Parts where they see storms going clockwise are going to turn counterclockwise and vice versa. So perhaps somehow related to the pole shifting. I don't know. Again, I'm not a scientist or an expert. I don't know if that would have an effect, but this was a weird feeling I had the other day. I was talking to a friend or texting a friend, and it just popped up. I'm like, I had this weird feeling that that's going to happen. What else is going to happen? Let's move on. Now we move on to some weather and earth events. Speaking of the Earth's core, over the weekend, Yellowstone National Park had a 3.9 earthquake, while at the same time, Hawaii experiences a swarm of very small earthquakes, accompanied with a 4.1 being the largest, which really isn't that large, but it's the whole concern of a swarm of earthquakes hitting, because another swarm of earthquakes are hitting Vancouver Island, right off the coast of Canada, up above Washington State. An area that I was pulled to, not Vancouver Islands, but that part of the coast, the Pacific. If you remember, when I did map scrying, I was pulled to that particular area for there being a major earthquake that could, again, bring some type of big waves to the shorelines. Now we're seeing these swarms of quakes. Also, we saw a 5.0. It was a 5.0 that hit the Vancouver Islands. And then recently I warned Costa Rica, and they had one right on the border, along the border of Panama, a 5.5 quake. All pretty small quakes, pretty small activity. When you look at the earthquake map, I always choose the settings for 4.5 or higher over the past 7 days when I'm looking. And there was only 75, 4.5 or higher, which might sound like a lot, but it really isn't. It's pretty typical. When we get into the hundreds, 120, 110, 111, around there, that's when we ignite activity. We're going to see that activity igniting very, very soon. It's going to be more so in the month of August. Doesn't leave out the fact that it's still going to ignite in a small way, leading to a much more significant ignition when we get to August. And Spirit's telling me now, watch around the full moon, of course. I remember someone left in the comments, full moons have nothing to do with earthquakes. Some people just need to leave their comments to themselves, friends, you know what I mean? Full moon affects everything, period. Like, we know that, including women's menstrual cycles. Come on now. The tides of the oceans. It affects everything. Sirius says, watch for the full moon. Which one, Spirit? Both. July and August full moon. When is the full moon? That's coming up. No, that's not coming up. I forget when that is now. The full moon is on July 20... Where is it? July 21st. Sunday, July 21st at 3:17 a.m. here in Arizona time. 6:17 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States. So we have to keep our eyes on that date, the 21st and the 22nd. And we won't worry about August because we're not in August yet. Let's get through this month first. Even though I do have some stuff for August today that Spirit's going to bring up, if I didn't already. So this energy that's coming in is going to be a wave of energies. As I told you, the dates. Yellowstone, Hawaii, are they in danger? Not currently, Spirit says. And remember, I'm getting this now, and I feel like I have deja vu, but I see Yellowstone Park being closed down. I see, like, barriers being put up, people being told to leave the park, evacuations. This is going to come, Spirit shows me, on several occasions. One is going to be related to activity, and even magma boiling to the surface. So this is in Yellowstone, which is likely to ignite fire nearby. So that's one of the evacuations and closures of Yellowstone is going to be related to, of course, a combination of fire and magma boiling to the surface. No concern, Spirit says, of a huge, massive earthquake happening there. I know a lot of people think that's going to happen, super volcano and all that. Spirit says not happening, not in any of our lifetimes or even our grandkids' lifetime. So that's good to know. But yes, there will be quakes and activity there, and a point where the park's going to be shut down completely for quite some time. Another park closure is going to come towards more around October, November due to severe floods that actually claimed several people's lives during that event. Anything else, Spirits? Thank you, Spirits. Moving right along. Gotta love when they tune in to the Spirits. Just ask Spirit. That's what we say. So we also see in Sicily 2 major volcanic eruptions that have caused flight delays. And look at how beautiful. I mean, to me, it's absolutely gorgeous light show put off by Mount Etna and then also Mount Stromboli. Is that where they got Strombolis from? I love me a good Stromboli. I miss my favorite place, Pizza Star in Levittown, PA. Man, they make the best pizza, best Strombolis, best, what's the other one? Calzone. I don't really like those, though. I like Strombolis. It's the first place I'm going when I get back to Levittown, Pennsylvania to visit in October. I'm going there. Pizza Star, baby. I miss Pizza Star. I miss my friends there. Anyway, the friends at Pizza Star and my friends in Levittown, of course. So, yeah, look at the crazy volcanic eruptions that are happening in Sicily. And I had a lot of people from Italy commenting and worried and concerned about that. And Spirit says, yeah, there is going to be quite a shaking coming to Sicily and nearby Sicily in the future. November pops in my mind, so I don't know if that's when this is happening, but November comes strongly for earthquake. So, yeah, you're looking at, somewhere between 6.5 and 7.0. Not too shallow, so it will shake things up. It will break some things and shake some things. I don't feel like there's any lives claimed, so that's a good thing. So that's for what's happening down there in Italy. Another place I would love to go visit one day in the future. I've been there in many past lives, but not this lifetime. Not yet, anyway. Also, a lot of flights have been canceled. As Spirit told us in my 2024 predictions that we would see volcanic eruptions that would cause flight cancellations. I have something else about flight cancellations in my predictions that you're going to want to hear today, because maybe you can help me put the pieces together. Because, Spirit does often send us stuff in pieces. Sometimes past predictions will come back up, and I have one of them today, but with more details, more information. And then past predictions also will come up when we're closing in on them coming into fruition. So, but I want you to help me put the pieces together. We're almost there. Give us a little time. So look at this. We have Hurricane Beryl just slammed into Texas, causing major issues, of course. And they said it was only a Category 1. It sure doesn't look like a Category 1 in these in this video footage. It looks more like a really bad, severe hurricane. So if that's a Category 1, I would hate to see what a Category 5 is going to look like when it hits, because it will in the future. Friends in Texas, I told you, batten down the hatchets. Florida too. Get ready. The season only just started. And if you go back to my weather predictions in March, Spirit said that we would see the earliest hurricane activity ever. And we did. It broke the record by 2 weeks. That's a lot. A whole lot. And we're not even in the peak of season. That's September and October. Remember, look at, when did Hurricane Katrina, was that the end of August? I think it was August 29th. I know it was on an 11 day, because I know that when Hurricane Sandy was heading and they said it was going to go up the coast, I said, I remember I posted it on social media, friends in New Jersey, it's going to hit you. It's going to slam right into the coast. They're like, no, it's going to go up the coastline. I'm like, no, it's not. It's coming in on the 29th, and that's the worst day to have a storm touch land. The 11th and the 29th. 11 days. 29, 9 plus 2 is an 11. That's an 11 day, and of course the 11th. It's the reason why they use that date in September, the 11. It's a very powerful master number. And, it intensifies events. It intensifies the energy of an event. So when a storm touches land on the 11th or 29th, it intensifies its effect. Everything, both positive too, it can intensify positive things in your life. But when it comes to storms and stuff, and you see something heading your way on the 11th or 29th of the month, baby, you better find cover quickly, real quickly, or evacuate if you have to. Really important. I will be working on weather predictions. I've been wanting to do that, but I put out 3 videos last week, lots of information. And then I had to take off from clients to finish painting, and I still didn't finish. I still got more to do. But I will work on those weather predictions this week and have them out at some point this week. That I will guarantee you. That will be my second video this week. Probably Thursday would be most likely. Friday at the latest. Keep an eye out for it. And let us move on to something really interesting. The history, our history, and the truth about our history, and how all things are aligned in some way or another, along with how things are very well planned and played out. And here's where I'm going to take you with this. Are you at all aware of the very strange and wild alignments between the passing of President Abraham Lincoln and that of John F. Kennedy? I came across this yesterday, and I was like, I got to show you all this. Because I really like this guy. He speaks very well anyway, and any content I ever see of his, I don't even know his name. I got to look him up. Because he's amazing vault of knowledge and wisdom, especially putting all these pieces together that are pretty wild. Check it out.
Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John Kennedy was elected president in 1960. The names Lincoln and Kennedy both contain 7 letters. Both presidents were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both of the presidents' wives lost children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday in the head. President Lincoln's secretary was named Miss Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Miss Lincoln. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated Kennedy, 1939. President Lincoln was shot in a theater named Ford. Kennedy was shot in a car named Lincoln. John Wilkes Booth ran to a theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. And a week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland. A week before Kennedy was shot, he was with Marilyn Monroe. I read you that to impress upon your minds that there is an occult world going on around you.
Now, isn't that interesting? That is beyond interesting. And like I said, that man is a vault of wisdom and knowledge, an amazing vault of wisdom and knowledge. I'd love to sit down and have a full, in-depth conversation with that man. I don't think he's around anymore, but I don't know. I want to know what you think in the comments down below. And could there perhaps be a link that can help connect us to the next potential leader being taken out? We'll have to look at JFK and see if anything aligns with, say, JB or DT or other future leaders. That'd be the first place to look for anything that aligns like it did in this video. Now, another thing about truth, wisdom, we love truth here, right? I know the algorithms don't, but we do. So on countless occasions, I shared with y'all that we were told that the symbol that is used for peace is actually the exact opposite. I remember a long time ago, Spirit said, absolutely nothing is as it appears to be. That's kind of something to really think about. Nothing is as it appears to be. So could that be the case with the peace symbol? Of course it is. And it's really not the peace symbol. I remember I was a kid. I found in the trash dumpster. It was just sitting there. This glass. It was made out of like blown glass, I guess you could say. Peace sign. And I remember I took it home. It was the coolest thing. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was so mad that broke. I had it for a long time, but then it fell and shattered. And I hung it on the wall. I remember my mom came in and she said, you have it hanging upside down. I'm like, no, I don't. I have it hanging right. And I had no clue. I was a kid. I had to be like maybe 10 years old, 11 years old. And it wasn't until much older, and when I first learned this was actually through Billy Meyer, who, again, people think he's a kook, and he's been bashed and shot at and all kinds of things, but he's brought some pretty interesting footage of UFOs and the Pleiadian people. And they showed him the symbol without the circle. And I used to have it printed out. I used to have it hanging in my house. I don't know what I ever did with that. Got lost somewhere in my move, or it's in one of my boxes that I never went through. So then I came across this, and I told you all this before because one of you beautiful people sent me the peace sign shirt. I should have wore that today. I totally didn't even think about it. With the sign of real peace being on it. Because this is the illusion that they created in the 1960s. And a Swedish man, well, not the Swedish man, that's Billy Meyer. Just check this out. Just give this a listen. It's pretty interesting, to say the least.
The peace symbol, adopted by the drug flower children of the 60s, was designed by Gerald Holtham, who was commissioned by One World Government salesman Bertrand Russell. The symbol was never designed as a symbol of peace, but as a symbol of death. It is actually a cross turned upside down with the arms broken and is used by Satanists and in Druid witchcraft. In Germany, the symbol is known as the Death Rune and is found on tombstones of Hitler's Nazi SS officers.
We know the global elite used the hippie movement as a propaganda thing to push their agendas. Even though the hippies thought they were doing the right thing, and perhaps they were still given things to promote the opposite of what they thought they were promoting. Quite interesting, isn't it? Did you also know, and I can't show you this, but if you take the VW, Volkswagen, in the circle, and you like put it on a record player and spin it around, you know what it turns into? Turns into that. I'm not even going to say it. You know, they used it in Germany in WW2, that symbol. I thought that was wild. I watched that video and I saw it spin. I was like, that is wild. 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 No coincidences, friends. Symbolism will be their downfall. Symbolism will be their downfall. Spirits told us that many years back in 2020, actually, to be exact. Symbolism will be their downfall. Here's another downfall. They're driverless cars, friends. Come on now, driverless cars. Remember the movie, Leave the World Behind? And it was in my prediction. Spirit said that they were going to, they being hackers, I guess, are going to hack into driverless cars and cause things to happen. Incidents, accidents, what have you. Well, just over the, and TMZ, man, since when did they break stories like this? But this was from TMZ, so I can't even show you the footage because, of course, they'll copyright claim it, which I'm sure they have all the right to do. They did break this story. But a police officer down there in Phoenix, Arizona, pulled over a vehicle and was stunned to find out there was nobody in the vehicle, not even a passenger. So, and then the vehicle called, I guess, the supervisor, which is even more interesting. And the supervisor's talking to him through the car, you know, and so what? The car is not going to get a ticket. If that were you and me, we'd get a ticket. I didn't see this officer write no tickets or do anything other than talk to the supervisor through the car. The car drove the opposite direction down the road. Now, yes, there was construction that could make it confusing, but it wouldn't be so confusing if it was a person behind the wheel. Very, very concerning, to say the least. I'd show you the clip. You can look it up for yourself, find the clip yourself. I wanted to show you, but Spirit says don't, because they'll clip it. They'll copyright clip it. So, just check it out, but it's pretty wild. And you hear the whole conversation in the video. It's no big deal. I just told you everything that happened. But it is very concerning. And this is what we're going to start seeing. I wouldn't get in one of those cars. If an Uber came for me and there was no driver in the car, not getting in, sorry. It creeps me out that there's not a human controlling behind the wheel. Creeps me out, totally. Let's move on. Let's talk about the activity of the Pope. The Pope, quite controversial this man is becoming, isn't he? Lots of crazy things. Remember my vision, it was over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. About a year ago. Probably this time last year, actually. Of a dark entity or demon. This was my vision, breaking through the walls of the Vatican and running free towards Rome or wherever. So now, all of a sudden, the Pope claims that hell does not exist. What the hell? What the hell, y'all? Like, really? What would possess him to say? What would possess him to say that? Well, we know what would possess him to say that. Now, again, hell, it was, of course, if we do the history of it, something that was created, a place that was created and named. And from what I learned a long time ago, there was a place, I think in Israel, or somewhere where it was really hot up on the hill where they buried their loved ones, and it was called Hel, H-E-L. And the smell and the odor was so bad that somehow that's where they derived hell from, or the word hell, as this morbid place. Now, I will say, through my journey in Peru with the shamans and ayahuasca, I did see something, a place. I don't know what it was, but spirit, and it was Archangel Michael, and even the presence of Jesus in my journey that showed me this place looking down of all these dark entities. Now, in other cultures, they talk about the dark abyss, the deep dark abyss, which is down, and people think hell is down. Now, my mama always said, this is hell. We're living in it right here on earth. But I can see heaven on earth more. And, you know, that's what the Luciferian, the psychopaths want to do. They want to destroy absolutely everything that God has created. That is Lucifer's agenda. Destroy it all. Rip apart the rainforest, pollute the waters, pollute your drinking water, destroy everything that they can that God has created. Look, they want to do the fake sun, right? Why do they want a fake sun? Because they want to destroy God's sun, whatever they can destroy that God created. Now they're telling you that the Catholic Church, the hell doesn't exist. Why are they doing that? Because a lot of people don't believe in it. I do believe in the dark place. There's always positive and negative. It's the vibration of the universe. It's how batteries work. If you don't have equal polarity of positive and negative, you get no juice out of the battery. Everything in life goes the same way, including yourself. An equal polarity of positive and negative will get you more juice out of your battery of life. It's how everything in the universe. So if you're too dark, we know what people that are too dark are, and we know people that are too plugged into the light on this, like, love, love, love. I knew I had an old friend like that. I'm like, don't you ever have a bad day? Ever? Oh, yeah, sure I do. I'm like, it's always love, love, love. It's too much positivity. It was a little too much. It's all about positive, but again, there has to be a balance of both. And for over 1,000 years, thousands of years, they have been pushing this agenda that if you don't follow these 10 major rules, you're going to go burn in that place called hell. But now it don't exist, so how are they going to do that? Are they denying the existence of demons and dark entities? Apparently they're not, because just a few months ago, we saw the Vatican release guidelines for apparitions and other supernatural phenomena. Now that's weird, right? I was going to do a video on that when it came out, but it was just kind of somewhat boring. And it was written by them. You can't follow everything that's written by them for sure. Absolutely not. I want to know what your opinion is and what you think. Always, of course, in the comments down below. And always be kind, because otherwise your comment isn't going to get approved. Be nice, be kind. Be kind to others. Maybe they want to convince themselves so that they don't end up in hell themselves. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they want to convince themselves it doesn't exist so that they don't end up there where they probably will reside in the not far off future. Not long ago, the Pope gave us those guidelines too. So I encourage you to go read them for yourself. It's quite interesting. Let's move on to in other news. Because in other news, did you know in Barcelona, Spain, a place I really wanted to go visit, I don't want to go visit there now because apparently they are like going after tourism. They claim that their high living costs is all because of all the tourists coming there. That could very well be. I mean, I agree. I live in a tourist area and it's ridiculously expensive. Everything is ridiculously expensive. Everything. Even more so now since, this new administration came in, everything doubled in price. I looked at an old grocery list bill compared to now buying the same things. And it was like 54% higher. That's a lot. Your groceries, everything's more than doubled, friends, more than doubled. So in Barcelona, Spain, you don't want to go there because they'll shoot you with water guns. And it might even get worse. I'm sure it'll probably get worse. People will get worse about it. And they're probably right that the high living costs is probably slightly based on all the tourism. But at the same time, without that tourism, y'all wouldn't have food on your tables because the tourists are what's helping you have jobs and helping you survive. You got to kind of deal with it, especially if you want to live somewhere beautiful like that. I just thought it was interesting. People fighting back. They want their land back. They don't want you visiting them. That's enough for me to just not want to visit now. Even though I really do want to visit. I really want to go there. Did you see, and I meant to go find some video of this. I totally forgot. Did you see in China, they have these new things, these rolls that they go up on their roofs and they stick it to the roof and they roll it out on the roof. And it's blue. You know about the whole blue thing, right? When the fires, everything blue survived the fires. Especially in Lahaina. The blue cars, the blue roofs, the blue umbrellas. And it's alleged, that the lasers can't penetrate that color. Well, whether it's alleged and whether it's true or not, the Chinese certainly believe it because they are literally, some communities, the roofs are all blue now. And they're not painting them. They came up with this cloth or whatever that they just roll onto their roofs. Pretty smart, actually. If it wasn't so gaudy and stick out so bad, and if I didn't have a homeowners association, I'd consider it for myself. I just thought that was interesting. And you know what else is interesting? Did you see this? That bottled water, friends, this is kind of crazy. Bottled water contains millions of particles of plastics. So next time you're drinking your bottled water, think about all the plastics that are going into your body. And what did Spirit just say within the last channel predictions I did also last week? Spirit said plastic would be banned as it need be. Plastic would be banned. And we'll see that in certain places first before there's eventually a wide ban on plastics. Plastics when it comes to our food. So we'll still have plastics when it comes to your cheap plastic computers and everything else. But on the other side, when it comes to food, bottled water, putting your food in plastic containers, that's what's going to change. Something big's going to change with that soon. I just thought that was interesting. That's disturbing. Now, I get my water from up the road, from the spring, but I do put it in a giant plastic jug, 7-gallon jug. The glass ones, they're a bit pricey, but they're so heavy, too. You fill a 5-gallon glass one, them things weigh a ton, man, a lot. But I'm considering now, after watching that, of going and getting me some glass ones after seeing that little article and how much plastic. It creeps me out. You can't escape it, right? It seems like you can't escape it. In past predictions, we talked about shark attacks and shark attacks being a big thing this year. And just over the past week, 3 shark attacks in a week in Florida. So it's crazy. It'll just intensify more. Just like the plane issues. Did you see the latest? The plane lost its tire. Boeing, man, you guys are in trouble. You're wiping out your whistleblowers, and the world knows it. The government, it's just crazy. Boeing's going to face lots of trials and tribulations, Spirit says. Lots of trials and tribulations for Boeing. And unfortunately, it's going to cost many, many lives before they pay dearly. August, I don't know what August, but something with the plane going down. I mean, remember I said that before. I saw something happen with a plane, and this is coming to me again now with Egypt. Either going to Egypt or flying out of Egypt or some kind of connection that feels like a connection to Egypt to me. But I feel like this is boom in the air, going boom right in the air. And I saw that. So Spirit's reminding me of this. So this is a past prediction. And as you know, as past predictions come back up again, either I get more detail or it's because we're approaching this coming in. Did you see that? Russia just hit Kyiv, a children's hospital? That's just awful. Like, just awful. That's as bad as what they did in the other place. What's it called? Gaza. Like, what is wrong? And that's what's going to happen, friends. People are going to get tired of this. They already are tired of this. Sick and tired of all the conflict and all the crap. And as much as they think they're going to get control and take us all over and their agendas, it's not going to happen. It's just not. And hopefully when these light codes and this awakening happens, hopefully it awakens some of these, well, I don't know, the ones that are already sold their souls to the devil. There's always hope. I always hold hope that maybe, Jesus will touch their soul or something and make them turn. We can hold that in the light, especially when we have all these light codes and waves of energy that are going to be coming in soon this month, but especially again in the month of August. Remember, I talked about water and water being a big issue and water issues and water this. And I talked about water main breaks causing shutdowns. And that happened like literally less than a week after I predicted it in June's predictions. And it happened in Atlanta, Georgia. And I also talked about tainted water and problems with water. Well, did you see that one of those places that had problems with water just recently, I find interesting, was Washington, D.C. Right? Washington, D.C. Emergency officials have issued a boil water advisory for the entirety of Washington, D.C. This was on July 3rd. July 3rd. Emergency officials have issued a boil water advisory for the entirety of Washington, D.C., including the Pentagon, Arlington National Cemetery, the Reagan National Airport, due to a drop in water supply from the Washington Aqueduct. A precautionary notice to all customers to boil their water. I feel like there's more to it that they're not telling you. More to it. And Spirit just said, wait until they start hacking the water systems. They're working on it, and they will be successful at that soon. When it's really hot out. And let me tell you, it's really hot out here today. My thermometer says 100 degrees. Woo! I think the weather said 102 today. And, you know, I'm in the canyon. It's usually cooler. So if it's 100 here, it's 108 down in Sedona. Downtown, should I say. Let's move on to some predictions. I have just a few here today, other than what Spirit gave us so far in today's show. Spirit shows me that what appears to be a warehouse. And when I saw this vision, it looked to me like I was watching a video, actually. And that's how some of my visions are. It's like sometimes it's like I'm watching a movie scene, or I'm standing there watching it play out, actually happening. But this looked like I was watching a video, like on your phone, like watching this happen. Like somebody breaks into this warehouse, and this warehouse is packed with secret technologies that's been seized by the government. Everything from free energy vehicles to weird contraptions and weird inventions. Things that have been hidden. The vision that Spirit showed me appears again to be secret, like it's a big secret. And someone either snuck inside this facility to record, or somebody connected to it, recorded it, and recorded these secrets and released them to the public. So that'll be cool. Looking forward to that one. Now, of course, they'll lie and say it's AI. Oh, somebody did that on AI. That's what Spirit just said. They'll blame it on AI. Say, don't start blaming stuff on AI fake footage. That's going to be their new thing. Spirit told us that was going to be their new thing. Now, moving on, I see a breakthrough in anti-aging. Something very, very advanced, and of course has something to do with, I'm sure the global elite want to hog it all up for themselves, and they're going to try to hold it off from you. But those who want to make millions, billions off of it aren't going to let that happen. This involves something to do with a combination of our DNA strands and some other breakthrough in the cells of our body that bring about a proven method to slow down human aging. I believe this technology comes out of either China or Japan. I think Japan. I see groups of young men gathering on land. This was a disturbing vision, friends. I saw this vision of these groups of younger men, military-aged men, gathering on this land that looked like farmland, like plain farmland, that resembled a farm to me, big farm, giant farm, lots of farmland. This is somewhere in the United States, for sure, 100%. And the men I see in this vision are Asian, and there's actually some other nationalities that were mixed in, but 95% were Chinese. And they were training, they were running courses, and it literally looked to me like military boot camp. You know, when you go in the military and you go to boot camp. And it felt to me that they're creating an army of troops right here in our own country to go against us in our own country. That's crazy. It was a very disturbing vision. Now, where am I? I'm asking Spirit, where am I? Because I know I'm on a farm somewhere. There's a couple of these. There's three of them in all. Three of them that are like going strong. I feel like I'm up in the Dakotas somewhere with one of these. And I'm not getting anything on the others. We can hold in the light that we see a vision of the U.S. military moving in on them. But now if they're all in on it, but we can hold in the light. Remember, we can make anything happen, friends. We can shift anything. I see a large explosion happening in another disturbing. Large explosion happening in a large city skyscraper. Big building. Kind of reminded me what happened back in 2001 in New York City, but different. This was different. I'm pretty sure I was in this vision. I was either in New York City or Chicago, or maybe both. Oh, excuse me. Maybe both. Maybe I had both places. And I felt an attack coming, an attempt to take down the building. And Spirit says, beware of insiders and beware of course, those flags that fly ever so falsely, as we say. And I recall months ago, perhaps last year actually, where I felt multiple attacks coming simultaneously to the United States and allied countries. Remember that? I was in Channel Predictions, I think, November of last year. October or November of last year. So it made me remember that and think of that. Multiple attacks or multiple explosions in different countries, United States and allies, this could all very well be connected, again, to the past prediction with that farm that I was on. It could all be connected. Probably is in some way or another. But I know that whatever this is, it's a large building that's involved in an explosion in this large building. And this isn't from a gas line break or something like that. This is like purposeful. And I feel multiple. And then pow pow. I hear pow pow too. And for some reason I have a deja vu on that I felt. And maybe I didn't say this before, but I feel like I may have. Where I feel like, again, someone going into a big building hotel with a firearm. Let's hope not. So I see an incident of a plane hitting a building. A little bit different here. It sort of reminded me of New York back in the day. That past tragedy. But it feels different to me. It feels like just a terrible accident. It doesn't feel like it's purposeful at all. No nefarious act behind this. Just a simple accident. And I believe it's not a little tiny plane, but it's not a real large one either. It's kind of in between size, if that makes any sense. If anybody that owns planes, I don't know. But I don't feel like this is in the United States. I'm not sure where I was. But it was a big deal because I had the vision. I saw the fire, the smoke coming out. So, and when I see visions like that, it's usually how we end up seeing it on the news or in news footage. I also see a vision that looks more like a clip of a large round. This was very interesting. Basically, it looked like a giant spaceship, a giant round spaceship floating in the sky, but this thing was humongous. I would say it would have to be at least a mile in circumference, maybe a couple miles. It was just huge, and it came out of nowhere. And it was just hoovering towards a city, big city, and then just sitting there in my vision. And it reminded me, too, kind of like the Phoenix Lights. Because if you know about the Phoenix Lights story and people that saw that craft, because there's also, people could see the craft itself, too. It was huge. What did they say? Like, many football fields wide. This is bigger, though. This is bigger. I don't know when. I don't know how this is happening, but it is. And it just was a wild vision. And, part of me also felt like this wasn't from outer space either. Just saying. We know that they have them, right, friends? We know they have them. We know their little agendas. Remember that. And I feel like no fear from this. But this brings up another memory, too, that over a year ago, Spirit told us that we would see UFO, like what we call UFOs, being used in conflicts. Shooting stuff from them. We'll see. Hopefully not. Now, August could be a month where we witness this too, by the way, because August we're moving into that 7 vibration. And the 7 vibration is all about changing your beliefs, shifting what you believe in, all that. It's about the supernatural, UFOs, aliens, all ring in that 7 vibration. So it'll be interesting. So I could say that August could be a month where we witness this story of this large round spaceship coming into reality. Maybe. Now, probably, again, built right here on Earth. Secretly, of course. August, when we move into that 7 vibration, we're going to hear a ton about UFO and alien-related newsworthy stories. So expect that in August. For sure. Definitely. Hear a lot about UFOs and aliens. Maybe even a big whistle blow that comes out. Another big whistle blow on UFOs and aliens in the month of August. So I'm not sure what city I'm not sure the cause of this coming event. But what I saw is a vision of myself. And I was standing in an airport looking at the flight log. And then suddenly, it's like I'm at the airport looking for someone's flight or looking for my flight and making sure it's on time. And they all say on time. I see a couple say delayed in my vision. Then all of a sudden, they all turn canceled. The whole thing goes canceled. And so this would have to be something big, like some event that causes multiple airports, to shut down all flights. And I feel like I was in United States airport in my vision. And I feel this also occurs around other transportation, perhaps trains as well. Now, the last time we saw something like that happen, and the only time in the United States where they did that was 9/11. That's when that happened. So I'm not saying that's what this is related to or similar, but it just was really strange to me. And then I felt stuck in my vision. Like I felt like there was no option. Like I couldn't grab the bus, I couldn't grab the train. I just felt like stuck in the vision, like it all shut down. So this could be an event that plays out perhaps in August with all the coming alignments that we have astrologically, the craziness and the energy shifts. I mean, it could happen then. Now, Spirit says, remember, never panic. Always be prepared. Never be scared. I very much hope that you enjoyed today's Tuesday Tittle Tea Time, episode number 125. We're moving up there in episodes, friends. Moving up there in episodes. Don't forget to show your love. Smash that love button. That's the thumbs up button. Get this content out to others. Help our community and our tribe to grow larger. Post it on your social media. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. And if you're new here, we welcome you to the tribe. Now you get to vibe with the tribe. I'm here every Tuesday. Sometimes there's a hiccup and it's Wednesday, but I'm here every week with tea time predictions updates. Again, we talk about the world events, how they relate or may not relate to world predictions and new predictions every week. So I'll be back next week with even more predictions, but I'll be back before that because I got to work on my weather predictions, which I'll be working on tomorrow. I hope to have it all done by Thursday, if not Friday at the latest. I have a busy schedule with clients. Other than that, don't forget to visit my website, Joseph Tittel, Tittel.com, or SpiritmanJT.com. Until the next time, beautiful friends, beautiful souls, remember, celebrate life and celebrate you. Be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And be bold, be true, be kind. Be you. Let your light shine, friend. Let your light shine. And have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste and much love. Much love, friends. Much love.